Welcome, everybody, to the Slasher Smash podcast. I'm John, and with me, as always, is Matt and Tiffany.
Hi!
Sloppy as always.
Just the way I like it. And guys, what are we talking about today?
Our bracket this watch party was Bless the Child versus Cabin Fever, the 2016, not 2002 version, just clarify that.
Do we want to do a little synopsis, or?
Yeah, do a quick little one.
For Bless the Child, it says, Cody, a little girl abandoned by her mother and raised by her aunt, a nurse, is kidnapped. The girl's guardian, aided by an FBI agent, learned that Cody has supernatural abilities, and the abductees are a satanic cult willing to do anything to gain them.
Yeah.
Short and to the point.
Yeah, that's pretty much all of it.
Which one do you want to start? What did you think? What was, let's start with the bad. What was the bad about this movie? Matt?
Very slow to pick up. It took a long time to get anywhere. The movie felt way longer than what it actually was based on that. So that was definitely an issue. There were some moments there that weren't really well thought out, where they would just throw in characters that had very little backstory, if any, and then they would as quickly eliminate them. That, again, wasn't very good. But other than those two things, I don't see too much of a problem with it. The CGI, yeah, it's crap, but of course it's going to be.
Oh, the CGI, man.
But, I mean, I think that overall, I mean, it wasn't terrible.
Tiff, your thoughts?
I just don't know if the group of movies we're picking, there was no such thing as character development.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm being hypercritical about this. It kind of seemed like every generic, there's a special gift to this child kind of movie, which it's all right. I'm glad it wasn't a demonic. And instead of because Bless the Child, you're thinking, oh shit, there's gonna be this child, it's gonna be a fucking demon from hell, and it's gonna just wreak havoc. And it was like, nope, this was actually the complete opposite. Instead of going the demon route, this is supposed to be a good child, someone very saintly, very heavenly. So it was nice to see that, but the only person who had, and they didn't even have character development, really. Cody was the only one that we watched grow, and really still didn't get any character development, and it's just...
The aunt started to be when she started out, she was very scientific as being a nurse, but, and she didn't really believe in religion or anything like that, but she did kind of grow to that, obviously, throughout all the developments in the movie.
Yeah, but I have an issue with that, because my biggest gripe about that is that she now believes, because she now can see the flying demons, from getting hit on the back of the head.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah, it's not like the cultist had something that, injected her where she can now all of a sudden see it, or it's not like something happened where she now believes. She literally saw it because she got hit on the back of her head. She started believing it as she saw it, but...
But because of divine intervention, which we saw throughout the movie, through multiple different random strangers that disappeared, that very well could have been given to her by God. It's the God effect. Oh, a wizard did it, or God did it, or
to help her so that way Cody could be saved or something.
Yeah.
I suppose, but I think.
But what did seeing the demons help?
I think it was to help her believe that Cody doesn't have an illness or a defect of some sort. She really is special because she has a truly saintly gift. I think that's the only reason why they made her see that, is to play off her belief.
What did that help? The mom was going to save her no matter what. She already loved her unconditionally.
Mom was the drug addict.
But it's being able to see them demons didn't go, oh my God, my daughter's not crazy. She didn't think so to begin with.
It's entirely possible that if she didn't see something of an evil nature, specifically, that she might not have deemed this to be as risky as what it actually was. And she might not have done the same things.
But they said they were going to kill her. God, who told
Christina Ricci's character.
Christina Ricci chick. She was like, if she doesn't have these gifts, they're gonna kill her.
That was after she started seeing the demons, though.
No, it was before.
She could see them after she got hit in the subway when she was helping her.
That was definitely the full, the phase of where she's taking, like, okay, what do I believe is happening to, oh my god, this is some supernatural shit. Like, that whole sequence was there specifically to actually have her believe what the fuck is going on is actually happening.
To go from, like, a custody battle to, no, there is a good and evil shit happening here.
All the way from, custody battle to decapitation to, like, I mean, tons of different shit.
It was.
I feel like there was so much in this movie that didn't need to be there again. And a lot of stuff that it's like, we need this action to happen, so let's just fill it. All right, this happens. Like, the guy that drove her to that place so that she could steal Cody back. The guy showed up an hour and some into the movie. The guy named John.
His name's John, by the way.
So the aunt or whatever, I don't know, the old lady that helped kidnap her, saw her or heard her come in, and instead of attacking her, goes out to the driver of the car and stabs him with her knitting needle.
Yeah.
Could have just been...
Makes no sense.
Yeah, no, they didn't make any connection as to why they thought that was a good idea, because she could have easily intercepted them in the office. And then the limo driver, had they gotten past her in the office, could have then proceeded. Because he still... If they would have got out and in the car with John, they still could have had the limo driver fucking do what they did later and just fucking run them off the road, like car chase them.
Yes.
That whole scene could have been done via the gas station even, where they caught up with him, met him at the gas station, John was pumping up the tank, and ended up being they got stabbed at that point.
Yeah, they could have done it better.
There's a lot you could have changed with the writing of this that would have made it at least make a little more sense. But, I mean, how many times are you going to run off alone when the cop said, call me if you need help, and then you go off alone and fuck it all up and Cody gets kidnapped again? She got kidnapped like 3 fucking times in this movie.
Yeah, I do want to point out that was super annoying, only for the fact that I understand that in a supernatural aspect case, are cops really going to help you? No, they're fucking useless. But this particular federal bureau person was previously on, like, in a church aspect. Like, he was on his way to priesthood, but never made it to being a priest because he thought he found a better way to fight him, to fight the evilness. So why would you not at least trust him?
He specialized in the occult.
But exactly. So why wouldn't you trust him? That doesn't make any sense.
None of this did. I feel like Kim Basinger, who's supposed to be a great actress, was really flat on her performance in this.
I didn't give her much to work with, in all fairness.
But I just saw on this IMDb list that the little girl got nominated for a Young Actress Award.
That makes sense.
You're playing a child that has communication problems. I mean, the character kind of set you up to where you didn't have to do much. Granted, she killed it, and she was only like 7 years old, so good work, but...
Got a bright future ahead of you.
The cop character felt stupid. Like, all the forensic stuff they did in the basement of that one dude's hideout felt clunky and just awful. Like, all right, now put the glasses on. Yeah, you see that?
It's blood.
Okay. You could have just had blood remnants down there and just been like, whoa, look at that. Hey, we got blood.
But that's the thing, though. He did see the blood remnant, and that's what he grabbed from the drain, which is why he had them bring that stuff down, because they, of course, if you have a place where you're sacrificing things and all of a sudden you know cops are going to come and fucking barge in, you're going to try to scrub it down.
Well, you could bleach the fuck out of it.
Well, maybe they weren't smart enough to use bleach, but I don't know. I'm just saying that's why they made the connection with the glowing thing, because to try to get a DNA to try to find evidence against this fucking guy who is untouchable.
When it comes to the little girl, I'd say she is the best. She displayed the best acting that I've seen all night.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's both movies, guys.
Yeah.
Easily.
We'll get to the second one. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say about this. This, to me, it wasn't a terrible movie. The acting was a little bad. This, the plot and, like, the way it was written was clunky, and at a lot of times you were confused as to why things were happening the way they were. But I don't think this was a horrible movie.
No, I was engaged.
Yeah, so, and I mean, it had some pretty big name actors, so I mean, they tried.
Okay, but this is Alone in the Dark all over again, can we?
No, but I'm just saying, this might have been, like Tiffany likes to say, this might have been a product of post-edit or post whatever where they edit the shit. It might have been just edited really... Yeah, post-production, that's it.
You're welcome.
Might just been edited really bad. Or maybe, it wasn't as strong a script as they thought, but I would definitely not say this was a terrible movie. Was it scary? No.
They could have...
No.
They could have done... See, here's the thing that bothers me is when they're going to make a movie about good and evil. Add some of that scary evil. Don't just make humans be evil.
Well, they had demons.
The demons didn't do anything.
The 3-foot demon that hid behind the garbage can.
I hate when movies do that. You can do some scary shit with demons. Super scary shit. And I didn't feel... I think the most scared part I ever was when I saw Ricci's head fall off, because I was not prepared for that.
Well, do you guys want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's hit the next movie right away.
It says, while staying at a remote cabin for a week-long vacation, a group of 5 college kids succumbed to an infectious flesh-eating disease. That's literally the movie.
You don't need to know a whole lot more than that.
This movie was fucking awful. And coming from a guy who watched the original, which the original is cheesy, and it leans into its goofiness, I feel like maybe this tried at times.
I think and I've never seen the OG, I'm gonna call it OG, Cabin Fever. So I can't really compare like Matt and John can, but correct me if I'm wrong, boys.
Actually, you have a better comparison than we do because of that.
Fair.
Fair enough. I have a more honest opinion for horror aspect than comparing it. Is this kind of a thing where maybe they kind of went on the remake part of it and tried to make it more, what's the words I'm looking for?
Dumb?
They're trying to make it more relatable, like the different time, like 2002 versus 2016, a lot of different things are... No? Okay, well then I don't know why this is so bad compared to the OG.
This ripped off a lot of shit from the OG.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
It's just like, hey, let's do the same fucking thing, only shittier. Let's do it.
The dialogue in this should be in prison for being that bad. The reactions that the people had and what the solutions they came up with were some of the worst. Even me watching this, I was like, this is unbelievable. And I'm trying to suspend belief for a movie. It is hard. You just ripped off the whole dog thing from the first one, which could have been... You could have changed it in some way to make it somewhat interesting. It's 2016, but still nobody... you threw out the whole phone thing where they're just like... She's like, well, just call me later if you want me to come out and, party with you guys. But you just stated earlier that the phones don't work and they don't have a radio, and a radio is the only way to establish contact with you.
Yeah, if she would have handed him a radio and said, hey, give me a call if you guys need it, that would have been like, okay, bam! Now they have a way to try to communicate, and they could have made Winston a little bit more a part of it. She was like, okay, yeah, so she's a fucking sheriff. She's got a scar. Why the fuck is the scar...
Didn't make any sense.
There's no tying into why she's even there, aside from the fact that, oh yeah, great, she's a sheriff who's fucking wandering the woods. That's all she was.
The scar looked bad, though, too, and they made a big deal to point it out.
Yeah, when she tipped her glasses down. That's why I don't understand. I was like, oh, maybe she's part of this whole thing, and I do think she's still part of it.
I will say one thing about the scar, and a lot of people don't think about this, but because of the ending, and because she was in the ending, it could have signified that she got sniper scope, which is where kickback of a rifle cuts into your eye when you're looking down the scope.
Okay.
So it's,
I didn't think about that.
It's possible, but that's a hell of a fucking jump, and I guess I don't know why you would need that in there.
What would be the significance of having that in the movie?
If it is the fact that it is due to the kickback of the scope, you make no reference at all to any foreshadowing as to what again, I would love to know who would see that and be like, oh yeah, kickback from a fucking sniper scope.
And we're not talking about a huge fucking scar like that either. That is ridiculously large.
It was very embellished. Very, very embellished.
Immensely.
But what did that establish with the character?
It doesn't.
At all.
No.
They tried to build on that character a little bit more. In retrospect, that character and what they stand for actually is one of the characters that doesn't need building upon. You know what this fucking person is. Again, we're gonna have a hard time because we're comparing to the first one, John. But like, that person's somebody who does not give a flying fuck about anybody else.
Okay, there's not a cop on the planet that would go out to a cabin to check it out and immediately get out of their car, stare away from the cabin that they were going to check out.
And then be jump scared, but yeah.
Yeah, and then be jump scared by somebody coming out of the cabin. You wrote that person the dumbest way possible.
Also, they never showed what happened to Grimm.
No, his dog got infected, and you're just supposed to assume the rest.
He might be in the second one, because there's like 3 or 4 out there. It's sad.
He's still smoking weed.
Well, the first one, they did say what happened to him. Obviously, it wasn't... I don't think his name was Grimm in the first one, but...
no.
If I'm not mistaken, he gets torn apart in his tent by the dog.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this one, now that, like, this... I'm going to call it, like, a remake, because it seems like it is a remake, hardly altered. A remaster, I'm sorry. I'm going to use game technology, or gamer technology, or it's going to be remastered. But I wonder if if they showed it in 2002 but not 2016, I wonder if because they made 2 and 3, I wonder if he makes an appearance in there, so that's where you find out what happened to him. Is it stupid? You're damn right it is, but...
If this movie was even halfway real, it would have ended so fucking early, because when that fuckface dude almost shot that guy with a gun that he had no business handling to begin with, I would have been like, we're fucking done. I'm going home. And that would have been the whole movie.
No. Well, and that's kind of the thing that like, I don't know, it's very weird.
Even later on, when he, like, attacks Paul, when he, like, is getting into a verbal argument with the guy, he does not bring up the fact that he almost killed him with an assault rifle. That would be on my mind for a long time.
Wait, are you talking about the when the guy went to the cabin? The one who was on fire? The one that got shot?
No, the nerdy kid who brought the gun when he almost killed Paul in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, that's right. Oh, Paul Wall. Okay, that's right.
That would have been done right then and there.
Yeah, I would have been like, I'm not staying in the cabin with this fucker. I'm out. Give me the keys.
No.
Either I'm leaving you guys here and I'll pick you guys up later. I'm fucking out.
This whole movie is what not to do with guns.
It's what not to do in general. Like...
Well, that too.
Even the death with Karen, I'm still frosty about that one, all right?
I'm pissed.
Still frosty.
Why did you take the time to take her out of the room that she bled all over and infected to put her in a shed outside? I get that they did it in the original, and I feel like it made a little more sense in the original than this.
I think they felt better in a completely separate building for quarantine, because you can quarantine in a room, which is fine, but you still have to wonder then, is it airborne? Is it just a transmission of fluids? Is it like, they don't even know what the cause is. Nobody knows what the fucking cause is. Well, I mean, we do as viewers when you're watching, but nobody physically in the movie realizes what the cause is until Paul, and everybody's already infected. And I really want to watch the 2002, because if it's as bad as you guys are saying, I'm sure that I would actually be more frightful of that one then. Because in my opinion...
It's fun.
As a person, I think the cabin fever is horrifying. You go out hiking, like you're on vacation with friends, you drink fucking water and then you die of a disease. That's horrifying. Especially with the way that fucking disease kills you from like the inside. That's fucking horrifying. They did not portray that very well in the horrifying aspect.
No. Matt, do you want to talk about the scene where the girl asked him to kill her?
That guy deserved everything that he ended up with.
For anyone who hasn't seen it, please don't watch the 2016 version. So we will tell you.
Yeah, don't.
Karen died 17 different ways and all painful.
Yep.
He ran out of bullets. You heard the click click.
He shot the dog that was eating her at the time that he went out.
And you heard the gun click 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 empty. And then he tries to shoot her again. You hear it click click empty. So then he decides to take a shovel. My first thought as me watching it, I was like, yeah, right at the throat. Really fucking hard. Just as hard as you can. Fucking end it. No, he got her like right in the fucking mouth, all fucking Joker style.
And then instead, no, fuck that. We'll just set her on fire.
Yeah, so she literally has the courage to say, try again. And then he puts the shovel down and finds the fucking flammable the lighting stuff and fucking lights are on fire. Are you fucking serious?
In the first one, the shovel is taken to her throat, but she is pretty much...
Her flesh is basically falling off of her bones.
Yeah, she's not conscious. She's still breathing, but she's not conscious.
Let's find something heavy and smash her skull. Hit her again and sever her spine. Something to prevent pain.
But that's the thing, though.
Not burning alive.
Even though he failed the first time with the shovel, and again, I would love to see the actual, like, physics on this to see if it would be even better. But I really think that you don't have to take the shovel and use your force to push down, put it on her throat, and then put your fucking body weight on it. Guaranteed dead. Like, what the fuck? No one weighs 75, a small amount of pounds where it's not going to cut her throat.
Shortly after this, the guys from town that decided they need to kill them to wipe the disease out show up, and he tries to shoot them with a gun that he knows is already empty. But then they go, "Oh, you left the safety on." And then he kills all three of them and stays alive. After shooting the dog, apparently he accidentally clicked the safety as much be the
That's our take on it. That's what we're
happened.
thinking. Nothing was
Honestly,
actually set in stone.
Like I said, the first one for that fight scene was much better. It was cool. I remember that fight scene vividly. It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
It was funny too. Like, it was dark, but it was funny.
I don't know how Eli Roth can do the first one and then want to attach his name to this.
Is it possible that he just wrote, like, the first one and this is just a remake of the first one?
It very well could be.
Like, if you looked it up, like, is this just another remake of it? And the only reason why they're giving him credit is because he wrote the original?
He's also credited as being the executive producer, though.
Oh, fuck.
You can't get around that. He apparently attached his name to this shitberg of a fucking movie.
Oh, see, Matt, I think Matt's got a point, because when I click on the writers tab for the IMDb, it says writing credits. The screenplay was by Eli Roth, and the story was also by Eli Roth. So technically, if it's the same story, Matt might be on the right idea where they're giving him credit because they're basically just taking Roth's original story and doing what they want with it.
I love it when Tip has to say that it's gotta eat her up inside.
I'm not disputing it, so it doesn't piss me off.
Do you want to guess the budget for Bless the Child?
I'm gonna go with $1 million.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with one. No, it's gonna be more expensive because they were just coming out with CGI. I'm gonna go with $2 million.
$65 million.
What?
It's gotta be the location stuff.
$65 million fucking dollars!
Kim Basinger was huge at the time.
John, how much did the movie make?
What would I call that? Profit?
Yeah.
It only made $40 million.
Oh my god, they lost fucking money
was
on it.
Bad.
Wow, they lost a lot of money on that.
Please tell me they had to have lost money on this. Make sure you put 2016, because I think 2002 they probably made decent money.
The 2002, there was a $1.5 million to make, and they made $30 million in box office.
Okay, good. I expect that. But what about 2016?
On this site, again, it's called thenumbers.com. It says theatrical performance, worldwide box office, $53,111.
That's better than what I have. I have $39,000. This fucking
wow.
thing
Okay,
sucked.
I'm glad that it flopped, and I wonder if the trailers, because I would have actually expected the opposite. If they would have made a huge budget, I would have put it on the fact that because the original 2002 Cabin Fever did so well and was so good and liked by so many people, I could see why the remake might have more, because people are interested to see how it compares. But apparently the trailers must have fucked that shit up.
And it cost $1.5 million. I mean, still, they didn't lose as much money as the fucking Bless the Child movie.
Bless the Child lost so much money.
That's crazy, but I get it because they're both pretty bad. Again, Bless the Child, in my opinion, was not as bad. And that segments us into which one do you guys think was the worst horror movie?
Well, John, you tell us your version.
Yeah,
first.
John, you go first.
Yeah, you fuck.
Yeah, I don't want to play this game anymore.
It's not fun being put on the spot now, is it?
Judging solely on horror aspects, I don't know. Technically they're both horror.
They are. These are better. I think these are closer slightly closer in comparison than our previous one.
Neither
Slightly.
one of these was really scary. Cabin Fever had a few jump scares. The guy that in any other normal universe would have died many times over decided to pop out of the water like Jason Voorhees. I was like, whoa, all right. You know what? Fuck Cabin Fever. That one's the worst. I hate that bullshit movie, especially since there's an original to base it off of. You are a horseshit travesty of a goddamn name of a movie franchise. There's my rant and my pick.
Okay.
Valid point. I can't take into account that I've seen the original. I have to base this movie off of what it is. I can't take the fact that it had an original to go off of and they still fucked it up. I should be comparing this movie to that movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can put your basis in it, but in reality, we are comparing this to a different movie, not Cabin Fever old versus Cabin Fever remade.
And the thing that I'm struggling with is, while this Cabin Fever 2016 really pisses me off, and I hate it, out of the two, I feel like I'd be more scared in that scenario.
Yeah, but I mean, Bless the Child is kind of along the lines of Alone in the Dark. I mean, not really scary. It's just not scary.
Alone in the Dark, that wasn't my major issue with Alone in the Dark. Alone in the Dark had tons of different fucking elements flying into it left and right in different ways to tell the story. That was so
Matt would
fucking
have picked that
convoluted.
movie as his favorite between the two, but he picked the other.
I think that I'm going to have to, based on, just the fact that I like the original Cabin Fever, the storyline of that, and this follows that same storyline. I really like that storyline. But fuck that. I'm with John. I fucking hate this movie. It pissed me off. Fuck it.
Thank you. Nothing in this movie makes a lick of sense.
I'll go with Bless the Child just because at least it had some uniqueness to it. And you know what? I was entertained for a little bit. This just pissed me off. Fuck this. This was a waste of how many? Like an hour and a half? Fuck this movie and fuck you too, John, for making me watch it.
We technically already have the winner, so my vote really doesn't make a difference.
Get fucked.
Your vote means 17% less because you're a woman.
Fuck. I'm gonna change my vote, I think.
Bitch, I know where you fucking live, and I'm friends with your wife. You're fucking done.
I just signed my death warrant.
Not to mention, Katie will also be on my side, and all three of us will fuck you up.
Oh, God.
I'm pretty sure she's down here with me, so I'm expecting something to come flying at me any minute now.
Please, do it, Katie!
I'd laugh if I just got hit with a chair.
Fucking rolling pin or something.
You just see John, that's a chair!
My video cuts out and everything.
I would have voted for the worst horror movie. I would have done Bless the Child because I'm looking at it more of from an outer perspective. Also, again, I did not watch the original Cabin Fever. Maybe I would agree with the boys.
Well, that's true, but you see, yeah, you got a better judge of this then.
But here's the reason why I picked Bless the Child being the worst. Because Cabin Fever, not saying that heaven and hell doesn't exist, demons and angels don't exist. I feel the more terror, more realness from Cabin Fever. Something out in the woods. We don't fucking know what happens in the woods. We don't know what experiments are being fucking held out there. Fucking hills have eyes, man. Bitches are probably out there. Who knows? That is more terrifying in my book. That's a more scary concept than having, the demons try to take over the world.
But right now, you're just comparing plots.
That's true. You got to think of acting and storyline.
Acting, writing, character development, resolution.
I felt more emotion in the Cabin Fever than I did in Bless the Child. I felt more like, I don't know. I want to say invested because I hated all the characters. I hated every fucking actor that we watched both movies. Didn't care. I didn't get attached to anybody. I felt like I was sucked in a little bit more to Cabin Fever than I was Bless the Child. Bless the Child, I guess, was in a way slightly written a little bit better because of the way that it kept a pace. It didn't, the end seemed a little abrupt to me. It seemed a little...
Well, yeah, because everything else was super slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Whereas, in all fairness, when I looked at the cabin fever, there's not a whole lot. There's an infectious disease. Could they have talked about it? Sure. Could they have figured out what was going on? Was there a science experiment up there? Sure. But I feel like there's not a whole lot of plot that they had to worry about.
In the movie, they needed to strand the kids there. At one point, the kid shoots the tire of the gun when the infected guy gets in, and somehow never explain, but the truck's engine is now damaged.
Okay.
Which they can fix with the wrench later on in the film.
Okay, but here's the thing. Bless the child. They never fully said anything about what Cody was going to do, aside from the fact that Cody was the new fucking Jesus, basically. But they didn't elaborate more as to... All they said was they wanted to turn her. That's it. They just wanted to turn her. There was no other concept. You're telling me that fucking cultist didn't have any more ideas as to how the darkness was going to rule over the fucking earth with a prophet who is 6 years old, might I mind you? A 6-year-old fucking prophet? Who the fuck's going to listen to a 6-year-old?
This guy.
You don't even listen to adults.
Anyway, it doesn't matter because Bless the Child is still not... It's fine. Cabin Fever wins anyway because you two have voted Cabin Fever. I have said my fucking views.
Bless the Child was basically Star Wars. Kid with a gift is tempted to switch to the dark side.
And there was a lot of force used.
Matt, what are you going to say?
God, I'm still thinking. Give me like 5 seconds.
These were both horribly written movies. That's the problem. Is it's hard to really tell. Again, like the last matchup, they were bad. They were both bad for different aspects.
My biggest problem that I see what Tiff's talking about in the realistic sense of which one of these movies scares me more in a horror scenario, and I agree with her. Cabin Fever freaks me the fuck out when I think of that.
Oh, 100%. I think the fault with Cabin Fever was I know it can be done well.
Was it caught up in a hell coming after me scenario where demons that are freaky as fuck say looked like spiders, Tiff? That'd freak you the fuck out too. So
exactly. They didn't make them scary. They made them very blur-esque. Well, when she was at the one entrance, they did do some details on some demons. Those were pretty decent.
I feel like Bless the Child actually had a really good concept, and they built on it pretty well. They had to rush the end.
According to the 2002 version, apparently so did Cabin Fever.
Yeah, that's true too.
I'm looking at it like this. They stuck these movies into a horror genre together. And if I have to look at it based on just a movie aspect alone, Cabin Fever was awful. The writing was terrible, and connecting the dots was bad. The character, even the acting was not good at a lot of parts. So I'm going to have to say that is the worst horror film out of these two, and it's moving on. I just wanted to move on so I can watch it again.
And we're watching this again?
No, maybe next time we'll watch the older one.
Okay.
We can see what a good movie is.
Yeah, let me, again, and maybe I will change my mind once I see the 2002 version and see why you guys are so pissed off. I can get an understanding of why you're pissed off, but because I haven't experienced it, I don't understand the full pissed offness that you guys are about this movie.
I am upset and disappointed that they turned something that was actually good into just shit, and had very little creativity to bring to it. But I'm absolutely pissed off on how what's-her-name died. Karen.
Oh, yeah, and a dog dies.
2 dogs. Pancakes and the one that went, and Dr. Mambo?
I don't have as big of an issue with some of that because, they're put out of their misery in some retrospect. You're sick and dying like that.
But I'm still mad at I Am Legend, but that technically was for its own good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still mad at Will Smith
Yeah.
for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. You know what you did, Will.
All right, everybody. So Cabin Fever moves on. Next week, we got Fear.com versus Beneath the Darkness. Fear.com does have Steven Dorff.
Yes! Steven Dorff!
I already know who's losing next week, but tune in to our next month. Sorry, I don't mean
I
to
was
say
like,
next week.
we
But,
fucking doing this next week.
bitch, we are streamlining this
No, wait, I'm not ready.
next month. But yeah, join us to watch those two. And
Keep an eye on our socials. We will post when we're going to have that watch party. We usually do it like 6 to 7 days beforehand, but still better than the day before.
Amen. Amen. So thank you all for listening and watching, and y'all have a great night.
Bye!
John, I would never take a shovel to your mouth.
There's going to be an apocalypse, and Matt's just going to show up at your door and be like, look, we know what's going to happen. I'm going to have to kill you eventually, so let's just get it done now. I'm going to go upstairs and take a giant poop because my butt hurts.
And I just recorded that, so...